You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Kids or Portugal? Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. That title might sound like some kind of bizarre game show offering, but it isn't. Many of you listening to me will have children. I don't, but I know many of you do. Ask yourself this question. Since your children, crotch goblins that they are, came into the world, how much time have you spent away from them? I don't mean where they've gone to school and you've been at work, but where you've actually been physically removed from them. You've gone to a different place. Perhaps you had a weekend away and grandparents looked after them for you, or uncle and auntie did so. Maybe you went away on a week's holiday without them. Unusual as that might be, most people take their children on holiday. But whilst they've been below the age of majority, I should imagine that you've spent most of your time, if perhaps not all of your time, with them. Never having a night away from them, going on holiday with them, spending your time with them. Where you might have spent time away from them, I would imagine that it would be minimal. Perhaps you were away with business, or that you went away for a weekend with your friends while your partner looked after the children, or other relatives do. I should imagine you'd probably only be able to count on maybe one, possibly two hands, the number of nights away during their lifetimes that you've spent away from them. But what about Harry and Harry's wife? Well, they're regularly away from their children, aren't they? They did so when they were back in the United Kingdom for the Bridgewater Hall boring fiasco speech, and of course it was extended by the death of the Queen. They were away when they went to New York for the purposes of the faux royal tour. They've been away when it was the Invictus Games in The Hague, or now the Harry's Wife's Games, and again the Games in Dusseldorf. Harry's wife, of course, wanted to ensure that the world knew that she was a doting mother by telling everybody that the reason that she was late for the Dusseldorf Games, so she could make an entrance, was that she had been dealing with the children, putting them to bed and giving them milkshakes, in an attempt to manage that facade of being a caring mother. Well, you would have thought that if she was such a caring mother, she would have taken the children with her, or decided, as she did in relation to the King's coronation, actually, I'll stay with them, rather than be away from them. We all know, of course, that the reason that she didn't attend the King's coronation was not to do with a desire to look after the children, and everything to do with the fact that her subconscious narcissism told her, don't go to the United Kingdom, you're not popular, you're going to face too many threats to control, and therefore you need to stay in California. She, of course, portrayed it, her narcissism guiding her to do so, as, I'm staying to look after the children. But like with everything that she does, it was all about self-interest, protecting her from the potential wounding and threats to control that would occur if she had gone to the United Kingdom. On this occasion, she had no such concerns about flying to Dusseldorf and needing to look after the children. Indeed, Archie and Lilibet would be foisted upon the staff once again. Now, of course, nowhere does it state that a parent has to be with their child all of the time. But I should imagine that there's someone somewhere who has probably done a bit of calculating and has worked out just how often Harry's wife and Harry are away from the children. It's probably far above the average that exists for other people. The reason for that is quite simply the children, although she thinks they matter to her, they don't. And you would have thought, therefore, that if she was so keen about tucking them into bed and making them milkshakes, that once she'd been away from them for the Harry's Wife Games in Dusseldorf, she would have been beating a path back to California to tuck them into bed once again and give them milkshakes. No, because according to the Mail Online, as reported by Gerard Cousins and Jessica Taylor, Harry's wife and Harry popped over to Lisbon or nearabouts. Prince Harry and Harry's wife may have taken a detour to see Princess Eugenie and her husband on their way home from the Invictus Games after they were spotted in a luxury Portuguese resort where Harry's cousin is known to spend her time. So they wouldn't bother to go and see their family in the United Kingdom, again, because Harry's wife's narcissism would guide her against doing so. Nor could she be bothered to go and see her father just over the border in Mexico, because her narcissism says there's nothing to be gained there. Her narcissism similarly doesn't guide her to go racing home, and certainly her emotional empathy doesn't, because she doesn't have any. But instead, it decides, I know, let's go to a Portuguese resort. Following a week in Dusseldorf, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex took a lightning romantic escape to the village of Melillas in the Alentejo region of Portugal, where Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank have a home. Prince Andrew's daughter, 33, and a wine merchant husband, 37, have strong ties to the region, where Jack works in marketing and sales at the Costa Terra Golf and Ocean Club, where the Sussexes have said to have enjoyed a short stay. Portuguese magazine Nova Gente reported that the Sussexes popped over to Portugal on the way back to California, and their trip to the village has since been confirmed by the head of the local tourist board. Despite a fraught relationship with most of his family, Prince Harry has revealed he remains close to Eugenie and shared snippets of days out with her in the $100 million Netflix series last December. The Portuguese magazine reported the Sussexes' visit to Eugenie and Jack was a mega-secret operation which saw them departing Portugal on September the 20th on a British Airways flight to London Heathrow, accompanied by 2 bodyguards. The couple reached the plane in a white van carrying just them and their bodyguards, a witness told the publication. They added Harry's wife was wearing a dress with cropped sleeves and flat shoes with her hair in a ponytail and looked tired following a busy week at the Invictus Games. Perhaps if she was so tired, she would have wanted to head home to California then. After reports emerged that the Sussexes had visited Melillas, Jose Santose, head of the local tourism board, confirmed Harry and Harry's wife were indeed there. Confirming he'd been told Harry and Harry's wife were at the Costa Terra Golf and Ocean Club resort, and it was a short stay, he added, they were actually at that resort. I imagine they really enjoyed it, and given their family relationship with the place, I'm sure they will return to enjoy the wonders that this region has to offer. I don't know what they were doing, but I know the great experiences they had at their disposal in that part of the region, and I'm sure they enjoyed them. Well, he's certainly doing his job as the tourism chief, isn't he? For us, it is international recognition of the great tourist quality that this region has today, particularly the Alentejo coast, which due to its potential, exclusivity and beauty will, I have no doubt, soon be one of the main coastal destinations in Europe. You want to watch out, mate. Harry's wife will be sending you an invoice for the purposes of saying that she's helped you merch the region. I must say that we have no idea how many people linked to cinema, royalty, arts, design and fashion visitors, precisely because they value discreet travel, which is something that they find here, like nowhere else in Europe. They are people who value the quality of the destination, the food, nature, heritage and of course the comfort of the existing accommodation, but also the ability to guarantee discretion during their stay. Also good for the worldwide privacy tour. Thus, when it was a case of the kids or Portugal, it was very much Portugal that won out. That it was better decided that they would go and visit Eugenie rather than head back to the children. And, of course, taking more flights, their environmental credentials once again getting a beating. A quick dive below the line to see what people think about this trip. Cindy Lou, no one cares. Drop it. Jara Seabase, only 2 bodyguards now, thing must be tight. Lars Gonards, he'll be preaching about global warming again soon. Rabbi Burns, I wouldn't want them to visit me anywhere. Chris Rye, who cares? Hard worker, saving the planet? Mandy Adams, so no rush to get home to the children then. Sam responds, the Cabbage Patch stand-ins are fine on the shelf in Monty Shit Show. What do we want? Who cares? Accordingly, the usual disparaging comments about the gruesome twosome, and once again underlines that Harry's wife does what matters to her, and not what would matter were she guided by emotional empathy, of which she has none. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.